why don't parents bring their children in for care? Or if they do bring them in for care, why did they stop before you and I both know their children still need more care? I was just having a really great conversation with a doctor that I coach, and she was telling me how frustrating it is that she can't get parents to bring their children in, let alone once they are coming in for care. So often they'll stop bringing them in when she knows that these children need so much more care. Now, if that's ever happened to you, we're going to dive into those two pieces of the puzzle right now. If you don't know me, I'm Dr. Russ Rosen. I help natural healthcare providers just like you thrive in a care versus care, true optimal health model within 6 months. So you can create the life and practice of your dreams. You can do it without sleazy sales tactics, tons of marketing, or high pressure gimmicks. Okay, so let's dive into this subject. Step one, how do we actually bring children in for care, assuming you want to run that type of practice? Well, step one, if you want to run a practice where you're mostly seeing children or only seeing children, and I've coached lots of docs that do that over the years, all of your marketing is geared towards that. All of your social media, the talks that you give, the things on your wall, everything is just geared towards bringing those people in. Okay, fair enough. If you're running more of a regular kind of practice, it's not a pediatric type of practice, but you want to see families and you want the parents who are probably the first people in to see you to bring their children in. So if we want to do that, I can promise you this, starting off a consultation saying, "Hi there, I'm Dr. Russ Rosen. Good to meet you. I understand you have these things going on, but I want to let you know in this office, we see families, and it's required that you bring your children in to get checked." Okay, in my world, that's not a great way to do it. I understand the philosophy of that, but it's all about the doctor, right? It's practicism, not consumerism, right? It's all about the doctor, not about the patient. If I came in with a health issue, a gut issue, a shoulder issue, and you started off there with me, I'd walk out. Okay, just my 2 cents. We're also not going to say a month into care, Sally, I really thought I knew you well, and I thought you were a great person and a great parent, but I see that you haven't brought your two children in yet. Don't you care about your children? Like, again, I understand those and they get rah from the platforms when we're at seminars, but I just don't think in a care versus care true wellness model, that's where we want to go. So for me, one of the easiest things to do is you've taken the parent, the patient through the consult, you've taken them through the exam. We have circled their chief complaint in this. We have circled where their challenges are. In this particular case, I'm going to talk about subluxations. You might do zone care, you might do brain-based care, you might do functional medicine, doesn't matter. But in this particular case, I'll talk about chiropractors and subluxation. They would have circled their subluxations during the exam. They would have circled their chief complaints and all these other things that most likely are going on because of those subluxations. They would have said out loud, "I know where my subluxations are, here, here, and here. I know what they could be causing, not just my headaches, but also sinus issues, throat issues, mid-back pain, indigestion, low back pain, pain down the leg, constipation, diarrhea, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera." They understand why this happened, right? Their crack cocaine use and sold to the circus and raised by wolves, right? Car accident. They understand what happens if they don't get it taken care of. If they do, they can not only feel better, prevent problems in the future, reverse the effects of the aging process, and they can have a better life. And last but not least, they understand that this is a health problem, not a back problem. Now, once you've got them here where they say that out loud, all you have to say is, "So listen, you're going to be going home, right? I'll be studying your test tonight. Go and you'll come back. We'll go over, blah, blah." But they just said, "I get it's a health problem." Now, all you have to do is say, "People ask me all the time now that you get it's a health problem, If I have extra ones of these brochures, I do. I have them for adults. So I know that you're married. You can have one for your sweetheart. We also have ones for infants, and we also have ones for children, right? So different kinds of symptoms in here. Obviously, same areas, but different wording for the symptoms. And then all you have to do is say, can I make a suggestion? Or would you like any? And they almost always say yes. Great, can I make a suggestion? When you go home tonight after dinner, sit down with your family, have everybody go through these with your, obviously, you would go through it with about your infant. You can go through this with your children, circle any chief complaints, underline any other things going on with them. Now, I want to let them know that, their spouse most likely is going to have some symptoms, but their children really should not have any symptoms. That if they have any symptoms at all, you can almost rest assured that they are subluxated. And the great news is they're made out of rubber, right? They haven't been through, years after puberty yet. So it's so much easier to get things taken care of at this stage of the game. So it's such an easy thing to do with these people. You've taken care of them, you've done a consult exam, they've said it out loud. Now you give them an opportunity. Would you like these for your children? And again, most people will say yes. Probably about half will bring them back. Do you see any value to that? Of course, right? Then in the reported findings, we give them an opportunity to get their family checked. But you can see the value if they did fill it out. Probably half of them didn't, but when you get to the end of the reported findings, we talk about the special offer for their families, we get to bring it up again. So those are a couple of things that you can do. Obviously, your posters, your handouts, child-friendly play areas, all of that, and series of talks. If you're doing a series of talks, you can do a talk on raising a healthy family. You can do a talk on any of the specific things, childhood obesity, childhood diabetes, any of these kinds of things. You could do talks, and those are ways to, step one, start to bring them into your office. Now, the second piece of this is, how do I keep them coming in after their symptoms are gone, which is the same thing with adults. How do I get them to come in after their symptoms are gone? And it's really going to come down to the same thing. So here are just some pieces of the puzzle. In the reported findings, I need to let the parent know that they're, thank God, made out of rubber. And although the parent may have all this degeneration, and the parent, maybe optimal health for them means this, right? So, me, degeneration, disc issues, blah, 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 that's not going to get resolved. We talk about, for me, a different level of optimal health than we do for most children. So we're going to let them know that for you, the best we can do is hope for this, because you've got damage or staining of your nervous system, or whatever it is that you're talking to them about. But for the children, that's not true. And with the parents, I just tell them, I ask you all the time, now that we've got you here, right? 6 months, a year from now that we got you here, I ask people all the time, now that you're here, how long do you want to stay here at Optimal Health, or as optimal as we can get you? And the answer always is, for the rest of my life, right? Well, see, the great news here with your child is that they don't have years and years and years of damage. That to get them more towards optimal health is usually very simple, very quick, very easy. And once they're there, the question is, how long would we like to keep it that way? And the answer, of course, is for the rest of their life. Now, again, from a subluxation perspective, again, whatever it is you do, it'd be very similar. We need them to understand, and we talked about this in the consult, well, what causes subluxations? Mental, emotional, biochemical, and physical stress. So, Sally, let me ask you, does your child ever have any emotional stress? Do they cry? Yes. Okay. Biochemical. Toxins, poisons, outgassing of carpets, plastics, forever chemicals, the food that they're eating, corn syrup, sugar? Do they ever have any issues as far as biochemical stress? Beyond a shadow of a doubt, not a question. And then physical stress. We'll look at the birthing process. Hopefully they had a vaginal birth, right? You hear my dog barking. Maybe you hear my dog barking when she thinks of her head going through there, right? Or even worse, if they had a C-section. I don't know if you've ever watched videos of that, but the neck stretches like that. It's crazy. So have they had any physical stress? Yes. When they were learning to walk, or if they're going to learn to walk, do they ever fall? Yes. So when the parent understands that these are the things that will be happening to my children, that even though we've now got this taken care of and it's working really well, they're going to create more because time and gravity are not on our side. That's just the way it is, right? So, give me a second. I gotta look at these notes. Okay, so we we want them to understand that we can help them get healthy, but to get them to stay healthy, they're going to need regular checkups. Now, the question is for regular checkups, how do we know? So, in my world, I'm always looking at subjective and objective. So, subjective, we have our outcome assessment questionnaires for adults, we have ones for children, we have ones for infants, right? So, subjectively, I want to know how they're doing. But objectively, I want to know how they're doing also. So the challenge is, for so many of us, we don't have objective tests. We don't have objective tests for adults, or they're weak, and we don't have objective tests for the children and the infants. And that could be a real problem. And there are all kinds of things that you can do for objective tests, but those are just things that if you're going to get people to stick around for care, stick around long enough to get the results and then continue with care, we've got to help them understand this incredible opportunity while their child is still made out of rubber. Well, we can really get them super healthy versus, with you missing a limb, I don't expect you to regrow that limb. So with their child, we can get them there. And then what is it going to take to keep them there? And you need to be able to show them subjectively as well as objectively. So I hope that you found value. I hope that you will comment below. I'd love to know your thoughts on this always. So I'm not just speaking to my camera right here. And if you saw this and you're not in our community, our Facebook community, this is kind of stuff I'm posting in there all the time. And please share it with others. As always, much love and aloha. Bye, gang.